Well.
Welcome back to Squatober Day 23. If you're new here, I'm Shark. It's nice to meet you. Today's program was titled Merry-Go-Round. This basically has us doing 5 at 65, 90-second rest, 2 at 80, 90-second rest, 5 at 70, 2-minute rest, 2 at 85, 2-minute rest, 5 at 75, 2.5-minute rest, 2 at 87, 2.5-minute rest, 5 at 80%, 3-minute rest, and 2 at 90. Basically, it's 8 total sets.
Typical shark fish. We have the TNT, and it's shark flavored. I'm gonna go ahead and get my sleeves on and everything. I'll see you at squat rack.
The first thing is 5 at 65%. I made a judgment call, a little executive decision. It wanted me to be at I think it was like 205. And I was like, damn, that seems like not a lot. So I did the math for the rest, and I was like, holy shit, like the 2 at 80 or whatever it was like, I don't even know, but it was not a lot, maybe 250. So I was like, yeah, that's nothing. So now instead of doing that, I'm going off of my actual max, which is 350. So instead of training max, I'm doing my real max. It put me at like 230 for like 227 for the first thing. Can't go to 230 because we don't have 2.5s. So this is 235. 5 reps. Not really that worried, but let's go ahead and crank them. Seems fun. Now our 2 at 80%. Not bad. Honestly, I'm thinking about belting up for like the actual like heavy sets of this to, obviously save my back for like, not only right now, but also the rest of the month because we're maxing in like a week. So I may belt up. Also, that hurt my knees. I guess I didn't stretch out enough. Also, my fucking ladder, rhomboid or whatever is hurting right now. I'm trying to brace as low as possible in the upper portion of my back because, well, it hurts, and that may be where it's coming from. But yeah, I think the next one's like 5 at 70 or 75. So some yapping later. We're about to do our like shit, I forgot. I think it's 5. Damn it. Yeah, we got to do our 5 at 70. Again, we're going off of my actual max, not my training max. So this is 245 right here. I think it was supposed to be like 240. We can't go up by 2.5 or 5 pounds, whatever the fuck. Anyway, 245, 5 reps. I went ahead and put on a belt. Yeah, cool. Yeah, that's fine. I think our next set is like at 85%, I think. So let me go and get on that weight. And this is our 2 at 85%. 85% of my actual max was like, I don't know, it's like 297, 300, somewhere in there. Point is, we have 305 on here. 2 reps, not bad, especially since we're belted up now. So it's pretty good. My back actually hurts because, even when I'm trying not to brace, I'm doing it unconsciously. So I am squeezing the fuck out of my upper back, which doesn't feel good, but it's how I squat, I guess. So let's go ahead and hit 2 reps. Oopsies. The weight slid off there when I was re-racking. Oops. Anyway, next set I think is at like 5 at 75 maybe. I think that's right. So I'll see you at that set. My back hurts. Fuck. This next set is 5 at 75%. 350, 75 put me at like 262, which means 265. So that's what we have on the bar. I did not do the like 2 minute or whatever the fuck break it told me to do. I got caught in the app again with one of my other buddies. So I don't know. As long as we're doing the fucking squats, it's really all that matters. As long as it's not like fucking like 20 minutes apart, I think it was probably like a 5 minute break. I don't really give a shit. But 5 reps. Let's crank them. Now, when they say it's raining cats and dogs, where the fuck did that come from? Like, why wasn't it like fucking like cows and pigs? You know what I mean? All right. Well, my upper back hurts, so that's good. But that didn't feel too bad. I think our next set is, it might be at 90% now. I don't remember, but I'll catch you then. So we had a predicament. Our program's supposed to have us at 87% for 2 reps. Now the problem with that is the 87% of 350 was like 304, whatever. So that would have been 305. Problem with that is we just did 305. So because we had to round up because we didn't have 2.5s. So then I was like, all right, we'll do 310. We can't do 310 because we didn't have 2.5s. So we have 315. Gotta do it for 2 reps. This isn't like the worst thing that I could do, but isn't great, I guess. I think the last set, if I'm not mistaken, is like 90%. So that means we're gonna have to go up from here as well. I don't know. It's the way the fucking cards were dealt. I don't know. 2 reps though, so let's go ahead and fuck it up. Not too bad. Hurt my upper back, but it's all right. All right, next thing should be like 5 at like 80, 85, something like that. And then I think we have like the last set, which is like probably 2 at 90 or something like that. So I'll catch you then. This is our 5 at 80%, second to last set before we're done with today. Now my 80% of 350 again off my actual max put me at 280. Can't do 280 because, well, we don't have 2.5s. So what we have here is 285. 5 reps. Not really worried. Figure let's go ahead and crank them out. Uh-oh. That's not good. Let's re-rack that and put on some clips. It was our 5 reps. Not gonna lie, that got a little bit challenging because I had to re-rack after the fucking weight slipped so I could put on clips. Also, that hurt my back. That's why it took me a minute. But last set is at 90%. It's gonna be for 2 reps. We already did 315, which is above what we're supposed to do. So I think we might be at like 325, 335 for our 2 reps. I figured that out and I'll catch you then. This is our last set. It's supposed to be 2 at 90. Now going off of my real max, which is 350. Again, I know, not a lot, whatever. It's supposed to be 315 because 90% of 350, 315, whatever. Well, we already did that for our 87%. And then the next thing to do would either be 325, adding on a 5 to each side because we don't have 2.5s, or adding on a 10 each side, and that puts us at 335. Now, as you can see, that actually is what we have on the bar. I remember one time in my life, which really was not that long ago, I struggled getting 335 for one. All right. I don't want to say it, but I almost have like PTSD from that. But we only got to do it for 2 reps anyway. And if I'm going to be worried about 335, could you imagine like, the end of the month if I'm wanting to do like 405, 435, somewhere in that range? This isn't going to be bad. I'm in that mindset like, oh, I still have a hammy strain. I still have fucked up knees, Now my back actually is fucked up. My knees aren't doing great, but my back actually is the worst of everything right now. I think that is the second worst injury so far that I've had in my lifting career. I've had strained hamstrings. I've had fucked up knees. I think at one point I had a bad ankle. I don't remember. I know I've had a fucked up lat, shoulder, maybe. At one point I did have really bad like strained fucking triceps because I was a tricep demon. I was just going at it because I figured like, oh, it's 2/3 of your arm. I need a big one, whatever. So my back, though, this really sucks. It stops me from getting my fucking crazy lats that I normally have. And it's stopping most like heavy lifts because, you kind of like brace with your back. And since my like rhomboid / lat and even part of my trap is fucked up, I can't. that does worry me just a little bit, but I'm hoping if I keep stretching it out and like, trying to massage it and all that shit that it'll fix itself, because I really need it to be fixed for not only my, big lats and back days, but also for the end of Squatober, because if I brace as much with my bag as I think that I do now, I need it to squat heavy. Anyway, let's go ahead and hit our 2 reps and be done, because I really have to fucking pee bad. Not gonna lie, it was a little bit harder than I thought it'd be, but to be fair, I couldn't really brace as much as I needed to in my upper back, pushing like my shoulder blades together kind of thing. Not terrible. I think if I had, less exhaustion, that'd been a lot easier. I don't want to say that's like worrying me for the end of the month, because to be fair, we have been squatting like fuck both this week and today. But that's that. Now that marks the end of the program. I think that was 8 total sets. Not terrible. Kind of an interesting thing it had us doing today, I guess. The merry-go-round. But with all that said, we are done. I gotta go piss. I don't think I'm gonna hit anything afterward. I'm not sure. I'm gonna rattle around with that idea for a minute. But with that said, though, I will catch you at the pose down and close down. All right, gamers. Well, that was the program. Not terrible of a day, to be honest. It was just squatting. I mean, getting 335 for 2 was good, but at the same time, it felt like it was a little bit more strenuous than it probably should have been. For the fact that I'm wanting to hopefully crush like 405 to 435 by the end of the month, which is in like a week. But to be fair, I can't really brace with my back right now, and also we did just do a fuckload of squatting and then had to do our close to our max. Let's go ahead and get a few pose downs in and close us out. Well, gamers, I guess that completely ramps up all of today. I don't know if you could tell, but I actually did do a tiny bit of legs. I did one really hard set slash like drop set of leg extensions for my quads, and then I did one just really hard set of hamstring curls, seated hamstring curls. So get a little bit more of a pump going. Yeah, today wasn't terrible. Again, just a lot of squatting. My back hurts, my knees hurt, but it's all right. Anyway, I guess I'll see you all tomorrow. If you made it this far in the video, I want to thank you for being here. I appreciate you being here. I'll see you all tomorrow for day 24. Now, if I don't see you, I want to wish you all a good morning, good afternoon, and good night. Once again, I thank you for being here, and I'll see you all tomorrow.